Hi everyone, Ron here at Abletrend. Welcome to the webinar, and I'll be glad to answer your questions and help in any way that I can. We'll go over some different charts, different time frames, and different markets, because everybody uses the software for different reasons, and the software can work equally well whether you do stocks or futures or Forex, day trading, swing trading, end of day trading. It's all exactly the same. It doesn't favor anything. And that's what's so nice about it, is it'll work well, for all markets. Market in general, the intraday markets have been just really choppy and in a narrow trading range, generally speaking. So just have to be real careful with that. And it's just there's certain times where the market just doesn't give anybody many opportunities. The VIX, which is the volatility index, hit another all-time low today. It's under 10. Which is just unheard of. That means it's just very little, movement in the market. So the day trading has been a little challenging. However, at least with the guidance chart, we're filtering out many false signals, and half the day we're not trading because the two time frames are just not agreeing with each other many times during the day, much of the day. And that's a good thing, because if you trade in a choppy market, you can't win. Nobody can. So it's keeping us out of a lot of trouble. It's not giving us a lot of profits, but it's not giving us any, much of a lot in the losses department either. In other words, some small losses that's it. And again, any other indicator, you just get completely, killed in choppy markets. So the guidance chart, at least it's keeping us, or not keeping us from getting beat up. So anyhow, let's jump in and let's take a look at some different markets, and let's test out the software on today's market. So here's JD. Now this is a weekly, monthly, daily, weekly chart. More for like swing or position trading. Very, very good for option trading. And just want to point out what we should be looking for when we're using Abletrend. Where are these? Where are the low-risk trades where I can take advantage of the software's algorithms? Remember, you got two different time frames and two different Abletrend algorithms all combined into one chart, and that's what makes it special from anything else. So back over here in the beginning of the year, actually, because this is a daily chart, 1 bar per day, we had a really nice buy signal here. Now we don't have to have the higher time frame agree. In other words, you don't need to have the weekly or the bigger dot agree. As long as you've got a blue bar and a blue dot, that's double confirmation, 2 blues. If we have triple confirmation, well, that's even better. That's even more odd. So if for any reason you missed it at the beginning over here at about 27, you could pick it up over here at about 28 and a half, but you got a really nice sweet spot here with blue bars, blue dots, and you have triple confirmation. So anywhere along here, now I don't want to be getting in like up here. It's a little bit too late for that. So now you're getting in here at 27 and change. You're out over here at about 30 and change. We'll call 30. Nice little trade there. And if you can certainly, doesn't hurt to take a little profit along the way. There's a little profit point when it goes outside the band. But we'd technically be buying it right on the blue bar right here. And we'd be out, of course, over here on the red bar, the red dot. So pick up a little bit of money, especially if you're an option trader. You picked up a lot of money. Okay, got another buy signal right in here. Any one of these blue bars, blue dots, triple confirmation. There's another one right there. The price really didn't go up yet. So those are all legitimate trades. If you happen to have missed it, you got another opportunity here. I love when the bars go from green back to blue again, because it means neutral, back to an uptrend starting. So that's a good sign. Anywhere over here, again, if you missed the beginning. And by the way, this would have been in the WinTick list. WinTick scans 10,000 stocks every night, looks for all the new buy signals. Because a lot of people say, wow, these charts look great, but how do I find the beginning of this trade? How would I have been alerted of this? It's 10,000 stocks. Where do I begin? Well, WinTick scans 10,000 of them and tells you which ones to trade every day. In other words, which one's coming up a new blue bar with a blue dot. Now, here's a classic no trade. Here's a classic no trade zone, obviously. The red dots, remember, block or stop the prices from going higher. It's the hidden resistance in the market. It's like there's a big roadblock there, and our algorithm can see that. The little blue dots is the hidden support. which blocks or stops the price from going any lower than those blue dots. So when you got a mix of blue and red dots, obviously that means no trade. It means the market's going to be sideways or choppy. It's going to be too risky to take a chance. We're all putting up a lot of money when we make a trade. We just don't want to take a chance. So we want to keep it as low risk as possible. So nice trade over here. You're in at 32.5. We're still in the trade today at 42. That's $10 a share. And if you're doing an option, you bought yourself a call, and you just hit a home run. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Really, really nice, trade here. And it most certainly going to take profit here today. Oh my God, it went like $1 outside the band. You won't see that but a couple of times a year. I mean, that's extremely unusual. So definitely want to take some profit there. But the point is, the software is going to, doesn't care if you're doing, stocks or futures or long-term or end of day or forex or currencies. Works exactly the same for everything. And that's of course a good thing. Let's take a look at the Russell Index right over here. John's asking for that one. Had a couple other people ask for that too. So let's jump in and take a look. Very popular with the Options Moneymaker group, who uses our software every day with Abletrend. And they have a live trading room. It's called the optionsmoneymaker.com. It's a different company than us, and they happen to bought our software a year and a half ago and doing real with it. And they have great people. Mark and Michael, who run the trading room, are really, really nice guys and know what they're talking about. So love to work with them, or love to give them a plug because they deserve it. Good people. You can see over here they trade options on the Russell, NASDAQ, and S&P Index 3-minute, 9-minute Abletrend guidance charts. And they just talk about the signals all day long. So you can see over here, obviously, right at the beginning of the day, we had a buy signal, blue bar, blue dot, triple confirmation. No trade here, by the way. That's obviously a no trade zone because you have red and blue together. Any red or blue dots near each other just means don't do it. Move on to a different chart. Ideally, you should hopefully be looking at multiple different charts. Don't just look at the S&P Mini because that's the one you like the best. Well, maybe it's not going to be good today. Maybe it's, you don't know. I mean, use S&P Mini, NASDAQ, look at, if you're a futures trader, crude oil, gold, currency. I mean, my point is, look at multiple different charts. Don't just look at one chart only, because the S&P, as I said before, is at an all-time low volatility. Never been lower. I mean, what does that say? That means nobody can really make any money. It's just not moving. It's just in a really narrow trading range. So look at different markets. Look at the raw. Now, the TF, which is the mini Russell, it's a little expensive because it's on the ICE exchange. So, that I can understand people, someone not wanting to get that part. Tom says, why no bully bands? Just didn't put them on, Tom. Doesn't mean anything. I can put them on. Just put this chart up real quick with John and a couple other traders just asking for it. So I just put it on real quick. Let's put it on right now, and there's your band. So same chart, everything's the same. And there you go, up and away. Absolutely a home run today. Actually, more like a grand slam today if you traded this chart. Perfect sweet spot. If maybe you're on the West Coast and you weren't up that early or something, you had just you just didn't see it or whatever. Absolutely perfect. Right over here. Here's your sweet spot. If for any reason you didn't want to get in on that trade. Second bar, you would not get in touching the upper band. First bar, that's okay. But for any reason, if you didn't see it, you didn't like it, whatever, you got an absolutely textbook trade right here. There's your sweet spot. It just doesn't get any lower risk than this trade right here. Blue bar, blue 3-minute, blue 9-minute. You just bounced off of support. Green bar to blue, no red dots above. If the chart could talk to you, this chart right here at about 10:30 this morning Eastern would be just screaming at you to buy it. It just couldn't, because you couldn't get a better Abletrend trade than this. And they don't always work out like this. This one happened to, and they don't always, because it's most certainly not perfect. I'll guarantee you there will be losing trades. I can give you a definite guarantee that there will be losing trades for sure. However, when you see something like this, that is an extremely low-risk trade with a terrific risk-reward ratio. Those work out, I don't have a percentage in my head, but I bet you 9 out of 10 times, or at least 4 out of 5 times, that's going to be a winner right there. So jump all over this one, because if you did, you made a pile of money today. I'm talking serious money, because we weren't stopped out till right there when the prices went under the blue dot to the previous lower blue dot, which would be right there. That's just a mere 14 points, which is just mind-boggling if you calculate the amount of money on that. If you were doing the E-mini Russell in the futures market, it's $100 per point. So that's $1,400 per contract. If you're trading an option on this, which is a very, very popular market chart to trade for option traders, now you're into thousands just trading one contract. Then now the money's getting a little crazy, and they don't all look like this, but the software kept us in it the whole way. That's the beauty of it. All these little pullbacks, Abletrend said, no, don't get out. You still got blue dots below. Stay in the trade. You're safe. That's the number one rule. If you've got the little blue dots below, it means you're safe to stay in the trade. You have protection there. There's defense. Why sell yourself short and get out? I mean, most certainly if you're trading multiple contracts, you get, maybe you have a certain, hey, I'm up $100 or whatever your number is, you want to take profit. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. If you're trading, or even you just, if you're just happy with the profit along the way, absolutely take your profit. Nothing wrong with that. And you're not going to nail every one of these trades perfect either. It's just not possible to nail every one perfect. You just can't do that. The software is just a guide. It's just a roadmap to get you in at some, at good times where the odds are in your favor and it's low risk. You'll certainly be losing trades because there's risk in trading and it's not for everybody. It's very frustrating. I tell it like it is. I don't want to mislead anybody or paint any unrealistic expectations, because that's not fair. I wouldn't want that done to me. Kevin's asking, can you point out the first entry on this chart? I did right here, Kevin, right here. There's your circle right around it. And I said, if you missed that, this was a no trade zone, the red and blue dots. And over here is your sweet spot in case you missed it. You weren't up at that time. You just were looking at something else, whatever. There's your second chance right there. Just a perfect sweet spot. And up and away it went. You're welcome, Kevin. This is the E-mini Russell, which is very similar to that. If you're a futures trader, and it basically the same chart if you trade futures. But most people don't trade the E-mini Russell because it's very expensive to get that data feed. Okay, here's the E-mini Nasdaq. Beautiful call by the software, picking up the trade. However, you just rode along the bands. No way you could take that trade. The only time you can take a trade when it's near the bands, as I said the last couple of weeks, is at the beginning of the day. When the market opens at the 9:30 New York Open, it's just a massive influx of volume. And quite often, it rides along the band. If you want to be a little more aggressive, you can take that. The same way on that Russell chart over here, you're near the upper band. Again, you're at, the market opened up, so it's just boom, you got thousands of contracts, being traded at the same time. Let me go back here. So, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying, if there was only one time to take a trade near the band, it would be at the, very beginning. I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying some people are very aggressive and they don't want to miss out. Okay, fine. But however, just couldn't pick this one up. I'd love to say we did because it was a great gain. But again, I'm talking real trading here, not fantasy trading, not exaggerating. If anything, I like to underpromise and then overdeliver, not exaggerate like everybody else does and say how great it is and how much money you would have made, and it's all, it's not real. It's all a big lie. Don't like when that's done to me. Hate that. So that's why I call it real. I call it like it is, the real way, as if you were doing this live. So. Okay, software, the algorithm picked up, everything was red, couldn't get into that. Just went down too fast, riding along the bands. No go. Obviously, no trade here with the no trade zone, and that's a good thing. I mean, look at this day today. Up, down, up, down, up, down, sideways, down, sideways, up, down, sideways, down. Up. I mean, it was just a disaster. If you didn't, get killed on a day like today, wow, you got something. You got something good. So. That's why, That's why the guidance chart just keeps us out of so much trouble. We're going to be losing trades. I know I've said it 3 or 4 times. I want to be clear on that. I don't want to mislead anyone. But, I mean, if you didn't get killed on a day like today, you got something good here. And here's another no trade zone. Trade here, triple confirmation. Everything's lined up. And I love the mini NASDAQ versus the mini S&P because there's more volatility to it. S&P, as I've been repeating, is at an all-time low volatility. What does that mean? It means severe choppiness, tiny little narrow trading range, and the S&P is just not allowing anybody in the world an opportunity to make a lot of money. Doesn't mean don't look at it. It just means a lot of caution is needed trading the ES. Again, sweet spot right here, perfect 3 triple confirmation. That's about a break even. Because we'd be in here, out there. I might even call that let's even call that a point loser, because technically it would be probably closer to a point, maybe even 2-point loser. So I like to stretch out the losers even more. No trading zone right there, and it's basically the end of the day. I mean, you could have gotten in on any one of these bars right here. You don't need triple. It was double confirmation, but again, and the software again picks up the correct trade and the direction. I mean, all we want the software to do is give us the direction. Can't do anything more than that. If it gives us the right direction, hey, we're super happy, and it did its job. But again, real life trading, almost impossible to get into that, because it was at the end of the day, and most people are not going to trade right before the bell. So pretty good stuff here. Let me just go over one more for my friend Bert. He wants the S&P, which was just a bunch of choppiness today. And, well, that's at the open right there, so obviously nothing going on there. Not touching it here. You're at the bands, again at the bands. This would be a trade right here. Let's see, are we 3 points away? Looks like we're right about 3 points. So I'm going to take worst case scenario and say, yes, that's a trade. We lost 2 because of the blue bar right here. We'd be out. So we're in here, out there, -2. There's triple confirmation. And is it within 3 points? Yes, it's only 2 points. Okay, so there's a winning trade there. Clearly, anywhere along the way here, you could take profit. You're at those upper bands, especially if you're a multiple lot trader. However, you just trade in one lot, keep it conservative. The 2 points we lost there, we got back here. It's about a break even. Obviously, no trade zone here. No trade here. So we're, roughly break even going into this trade. Even if you were down a point or something, that could be too. Triple confirmation here. You're within 3 points. The price is within 3 points of the small dot. So that's a valid trade right there. And we're out over here. That's a break even because it's the same price. So I'll even just say we lost another point just to make it sound worse than it is, and not exaggerate and make it sound better than it is, like everybody else always tends to do. Clearly a no trade zone here, and that's the end of the day. The reason it dropped here is just because the contract changed. There was no big drop at the end of the day because this is a live chart. That's why it's not working. That's why it's moving. Don't get alarmed of a 10-point drop here. The contract changed over to September. You want to change it to ESU7. Yeah, you're right, Bert. It's been lousy. Luckily today, only maybe a couple of point loser at worst. NASDAQ was about the same thing, maybe a point or two on the downside. But boy, did the guidance chart keep us out of trouble. And because I guarantee you, if most other traders, especially using any other indicators, I guarantee you they lost a lot more than a point or two today. It most assuredly got beat up for quite a bit more than that. But keep an open mind to other markets. That's all I'm saying. Don't just lock in on one chart, one market every day. Mistake, because especially the S&P is at all-time low volatility. So all I'm saying is take a look at crude oil or gold or currencies, or especially the mini NASDAQ or Russell, and anything else. I'm just throwing out some ideas. We don't tell anybody what to trade. Now, I'm just saying keep an open mind. Bill says, what do you use as a guide for a number of point for entry? Well, I just happen to call out those numbers on the S&P Mini and the S&P NASDAQ because they're the most, two most popular markets traded, all along with crude oil. Crude oil, it's got to be, I mean, I'd be comfortable under 10 cents. S&P Mini, ES, I'd be comfortable under 3 points. And NASDAQ, 6 points, and some people stretch it to 7. That's fine. Anything else, just look at the chart. I mean, if it's just, if you're at one of the bands, don't take the trade. You're welcome, Bill. I just use, I keep it, see, I want it to be very mechanical. I don't want any thinking. I don't want I want to just keep it very, very mechanical, very black and white, no gray area, because that's when you get in trouble. So you keep it simple too. Don't look at too many different time frames. That's a big mistake. Most certainly don't mix different signals or different indicators altogether. That's another big mistake. You just can't win. It's not going to happen. It's too confusing. Less is better. Less is better. Less is more, and more is less when it comes to trading. So try and keep it simple. I know it almost seems like, well, this is a lot of money at stake. It's got to be more complex and more charts. And no. That's worse. You won't. It's almost impossible to win. Very difficult. You got to keep it simple. You'd be surprised. Simple actually works better. Okay, so we looked at the Russell. We looked at a daily, weekly, long-term stock chart. We looked at the mini NASDAQ. This is the mini S&P. Looks like we covered pretty much it all. It's the same way we read any chart. Doesn't matter what we're looking at. It's just, trading is tough, especially in this environment lately where it's been the lowest volatility ever. So nothing you or I or anybody can do about that. Boy, I wish we could push the market a little bit along, but just really, really choppy and flat for the intraday. For the end of day, it's been fantastic. It's been excellent because the market's basically gone straight up. So anybody doing daily, weekly charts, especially stock or index charts, they're killing them. They're doing terrific. But the intraday has just been kind of flat. Forex, Tom, yeah, Forex will work fine too. We could be looking at a Forex chart. Doesn't matter. It's the same colors, same dots, same signals, no matter what you're looking at. Everything's exactly the same. Now, for the Forex, you may want to go to a 5 and 15-minute chart, just a little bit higher time frame. I'm just saying you may want to. 3 and 9 will work fine too, but the Forex market is a little slower, generally speaking, a little slower moving. So you may want to go to a 5 and 15-minute chart. That's what I would suggest, at least starting off of that. See if you like that for day trading. But for swing trading, 30-minute, 90-minute chart, I mean, that's excellent. For bonds, for grains, you just might want to bump that up to for Forex, currencies, you just might want to bump that up to a 5 and 15. You don't have to. I mean, you see what you think, because everybody has a different style and a different risk tolerance, and we're all different. Not everybody's exactly the same. And the software, as I keep repeating, doesn't care what you trade or what time frames you trade. As long as you use the guidance chart, which is always 3 times slower. In other words, 3:09, 5:15, 10:30, 30:90, 1 hour, 3 hour, daily, weekly, you'll be fine. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, of filtering out some of the false trades. And again, it's been really difficult, except for last Thursday and Friday, which were actually fantastic. It's been really difficult this week especially, and 3 days last week, doing the intraday trading. And again, the VIX is at all-time lows, and I wish it wasn't, but nobody in the world can do anything about that. So you've got to have like ultra patience and discipline, and that's the hard part. The mental part of it is just as difficult. So see what you think, everyone. Hope I was helpful. Call me anytime. I'm always glad to help. You know that by now. Just call, email, whatever. I don't leave my desk all day long. So whatever I can do, let me know. I'll be here to help in any way that I can. And just hang in there. Hang in there on the tough days. But at least we got the guidance chart to greatly limit our losses versus almost anything else. So thanks for being here, everyone, and have a good night.